South African Policing Union says the police summit that will kick off in Kempton Park this morning should not be just another talk shop. The union says the three-day gathering should adopt practical resolutions. President Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to deliver the keynote address there. The summit is an attempt to address the country's high crime levels. It will also reflect on current policing approaches and develop more effective methods to combat crime. Our reporter Natasha Phiri is on that story, and she joins us now live from Kempton Park. And my goodness, Natasha, there's a long list of, let's call them expectations for this three-day gathering.
Definitely, and a very long list of expectations, from South Africans. And like you've mentioned there, that police union saying that this summit, the inaugural police summit, should not be just a talk shop. It comes at a time in the country where, we've seen so many things, happening. You just spoke to Calvin Dludla, our colleague earlier on, who was in Soweto covering the shooting there. There's also the issue of the 7-year-old in the Eastern Cape, Ayanda, who was, raped. Of course, we've seen a number of civil society organizations, South Africans at large, enraged over this issue and asking for justice, asking for accountability on that very matter. Yesterday, we saw our colleague Pimani Baloyi reporting on a story where a 34-year-old, I stand to be corrected, male actually violated his 4-year-old niece. So, it comes at a time where you've got high crime levels, issues of kidnapping, issues of gun and gang-related violence, and of course, we've got various stakeholders that are gathered here at this three-day summit to come up with solutions, to actually address, these issues. You would remember at the President's State of the Nation address earlier on, he had tasked the minister to actually deal with these issues. But joining me right now is the National Police Commissioner, Mr. General Fani Masemolo, and we'll just also speak to such issues. General, thank you so much for joining us on SABC News. He actually came just in the nick of time. We've heard policing unions calling for this summit not to be a talk shop, but to actually come up with practical solutions. This summit comes at a time where the whole country is actually enraged about the rape of a 7-year-old, calling for justice. Yesterday, we saw those men, shot in Soweto. What do you think the outcomes of this police summit should be?
Morning, Natasha, to you and your viewers. Well, as South African Police Service and the Ministry of Police, this is the first summit that we are holding as police, and the decision to hold this summit did not come yesterday. It was decided last year, July, August, with the ministry, when we said we need to hold a national police summit. The purpose is to reflect, to say, yes, we are aware of the level of crime that is happening in the country. We are aware of the violent crime that is happening. We are aware of the gender-based violence. We are doing our best, but we think maybe we are not doing enough, yes. So we are hosting this summit with a view to reflect, to say, those that we have invited, because we invited quite a lot of stakeholders, like as you said, police unions are invited. We have the CPF, we have the researchers, we have the academia, we have institutions, NGOs, spiritual leadership, traditional leaders. The purpose is to reflect back, to say that which we were doing is not sufficient, is not enough. What more do we need to do? That's why we invited them to give us an independent review, to say where do they think we need to improve, be it in terms of personnel, or be it in terms of resources, or be it in terms of new strategies. But yes, we are continuing outside fighting crime. Yes, yesterday there was some suspects that challenged the police in Soweto, and 4 of them were unfortunately fatally wounded. So we will continue. Whoever confront police with firearms, you must know we are going to definitely fight back, and we'll continue with that. So I don't like to talk to criminals. I like to talk to South Africans or inhabitants that love safety. We say, also do tip us in terms of what you know within your community of those criminals that are there. But criminals, we will continue fighting them, and we'll make sure we arrest them, because the purpose is to arrest them, to bring them to book. But if they challenge us, they fight at police. Police must definitely defend themselves and defend members of the community.
General Masemola, in just talking to the public, you make that concession that perhaps, sometimes SAPS may not be seen as doing enough. I want to bring your attention to a matter that, has enraged South Africans, the rape of the 7-year-old in the Eastern Cape. We've heard you countless times as the police saying that it's a complex, issue. It's a complex investigation. We know right now that the case has been handed over to the head of the Family Violence, Child Protection Unit and Sexual Offences Unit for further investigation. But would you say that on behalf of the police, you could have handled this situation or this investigation much better?
Look, what the initial IO did, he did his investigation, he did take statements. All we are doing now, I sent this senior officer just to go and do a rerun of everything. And where there is a need to take additional statements, she must do so. And at the end of the day, we'll take that evidence and then take it to the NPA for them to make a decision.
Okay, let me just, sorry for interjecting you. One of the themes of this summit, that the summit will be discussing, is citizen involvement in fighting crime. Let's talk about the effects of social media on such cases.
Yes, social media do an impact. There are quite a number of other cases that sometimes we become aware of them through social media. So we don't condemn social media, we embrace it. It assists us in many instances because some of the crimes we learn them through social media.
But are there negative effects perhaps sometimes?
Well, sometimes, yes, people run with stories that are not factually correct, unfortunately. But we are able to deduce that which can assist us police in terms of direction as to how the investigation should go.
I don't want to preempt anything, but do you think that this case of the 7-year-old is far from being solved?
Look, cases involving minors in general, it takes long. And also remember, minors take time to disclose, so we shouldn't rush minors. Psychologists work with them in terms, they are professionals, they know how. So yes, it is our view that we must make a breakthrough in this case. So, but let's give it time and see how the investigation continues.
General Fani Masemola, thank you so much for your time. Let me relieve you there. Of course, President Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to address the delegates here between 11 and 12 p.m. noon. Ayanda, before that, we'll see the police minister also addressing delegates. And of course, these delegates, all the attendees here, will then break into some sessions that will address these critical issues. With that said, it's back to you, studio.
Absolutely crucial indeed. Natasha Phiri, live to us there from Kempton Park. Of course, the president is going to deliver the keynote address, and as soon as he does that, we'll bring that to you live here on the SABC News channel.